We're on Baba Kama Perek Vav Mishnah Bet. Sixth chapter, second Mishnah in the sixth chapter, Mishnah Bet. So we're talking about watching your sheep, okay? And we learned in the first Mishnah that if you watched your sheep properly, if you're what's called na'ah b'fanei kara'oi, you guarded it appropriately. You put a rope. You closed the door. That door would have stayed closed. It was called a ruach mitzuya, normal wind. Then a hurricane didn't come. You guarded it properly. If you are na'ah b'fanei kara'oi, then you are exempt. You are patur. Okay? Now b'fanei kara'oi v'yatsa v'hizika patur. So now our Mishnah is going to talk about ways that would not be good ways of guarding your sheep. Hinicha b'chama. Let's say you left your sheep in the sun. Okay? O shemasara lecheresh shoteh v'katan. Or you gave over your sheep to someone who is deaf, someone who is not of sound mind, or to a minor, to people without halachic da'at. They don't have the ability to guard. V'yatsa v'hizika, and then the animal got out. Chayav. You're leaving in the sun. The animal is going to do it. The animal is going to do what it needs to do in order to find shade. So it got out and started eating. Chayav. Misara lero'eh nichnas haro'eh tachtav. If you give it over to your shepherd, then the shepherd becomes nichnas. The shepherd enters tachtav, in your place. I.e., the shepherd becomes the guardian of the sheep, and if the sheep damages, he is responsible. Now, ask yourself, this is obvious. Why is it obvious? Because you remember from Perek Daled Mishnah Tet that if we said misaro, if you gave your shore, if you gave your ox over to a shomer chinam shuel nosei sachar besocher, nichnesu tachar baalim, they take the place of the owners. If you gave it, and what's a nosei sachar? Nosei sachar is a guard who is paid, a paid watchman. There's nothing different between a paid watchman and a ro'eh. So what is the Mishnah adding here? So the Bartanura explains, interestingly, it says, okay, derech haro'eh limsor l'ro'eh katan tachtav. Okay, if you gave it to you're the sheep owner, and you gave it to your shepherd. So the main shepherd, he had student shepherds, and he would give it to his students. He would give the sheep to the student shepherds and tell them to watch all the sheep. Normally, we have a rule called shomer shemasar l'shomer chayav. If I hire somebody to watch something of mine, I give him my salt shaker, and I say I want you to guard the salt shaker, give it to him. If he has something come up and he gives it to somebody else, okay, he is chayav. That second, and something happens, even if that second person, the second person is exempt, the first person is chayav. Why? Because the shomer can say, Ein ritzoni shehei piktoni biyadachem. Ein ritzoni. It is not my will that my item, my pikadon, should be in somebody else's hands. I gave it to you. You should guard it. Now, but we don't say. The Mishnah says we don't say the same thing about ro'im, about shepherds, because we know, because the guy knows, it's understood that head shepherds give to sub shepherds, to student shepherds, and that's what the Mishnah is saying. If you give your sheep to a shepherd and he gives it to another shepherd, the second shepherd becomes obligated instead of the first shepherd. And the guy can't say, I didn't want you to give it to other shepherds, because that's what shepherds do. That's how shepherding works. So now, let's say you go to the animal properly. Nafla ligina, and the animal fell into a garden, v'nehenate, and it starts to eat, it benefited. So let's look at the Bartanura to make sure. Nafla ligina, ukagon shehuchleka, it slipped, v'nafla ba'ones, and it fell. It was an unavoidable situation. Okay, so therefore the shepherd is not responsible. So if you ever see shepherds, they're bringing the animals, and they don't watch every animal as they go, but the animal somehow fell, and it fell into somebody's garden, and they started to eat. Then mishalemet masha nehenate. You don't have to pay the full value, but rather you pay what the animal nehenate, what it benefited from. But yarda kidarka v'hizika. But if the animal went down by itself, meaning it was not watched properly and caused damage, then mishalemet masha hizika. Then you have to pay what the animal damaged. So you have masha nehenate, what the animal benefited from, and masha hizika, and what the animal damaged. What's the difference between what it benefited from and what it damaged? Benefited from is the fiha na'ata v'lo the fiha hizika, according to its own benefit. Meaning the Kahati says, what you do is you say, listen, it ate your prized arugula lettuce. That's very expensive. You sell it for, 30 shekel for a kilo, or I don't know how many dollars a pound that is wherever you live. Okay, but that's expensive. Pay me that. No. is we feed this animal barley. So we'll take the weight of arugula lettuce and we'll pay you that weight in barley. It's very little. That's Mishalemet, Masha Ne'anet. So the Nizak, the lettuce owner, he's out of luck. But Yardaki Darkavi Hizika, if you didn't, if it went down on its own and caused damage because it wasn't watched properly, then you got to pay what it damaged. But still, that's not the arugula lettuce price on the market. Rather, Ketzad Mishalemet Masha Hizika. How much? How do you pay what it caused damage? So you do the following. Shamin Beit Sa'ah Betasada. You don't say, oh, each arugula lettuce cost this. Rather, you look at a Beit Sa'ah. Beit Sa'ah is like 75 by 75 square amot of that field. How much would you sell the field if you guys going to buy the field? So if it was a fully planted field, how much would it be worth? And how much would it be worth now since the sheep ate a certain amount, a strip of the field? So and that's a much less amount because it's one thing to buy the lettuce on the market. Another thing if you're selling the field to somebody else. Rabbi Shimon says, "No, achla perot gemurim b'shalom perot gemurim." It depends. If the arugula lettuce was perot gemurim, ripe produce, ready to sell, then you got to pay ready to sell prices. Then you pay the full price. But im sa'ah, if the animal ate a sa'ah, measurement of arugula lettuce, you pay the full value. Im sa'atayim, 2 sa'ah, you pay 2 sa'ah. But if it's not yet ready, if it's still connected to the ground and still growing, then he says, I agree with the Tanakama. And you evaluate it based on, a square amount of field, how much the field was damaged, and not how much did the animal actually eat. All right, we'll stop here. As we always do, dedicate our learning to me and my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a good day.